The countdown to primary day is on. We are now just 1 week away. PIX11 continues to be your local election headquarters. We've been bringing in each of the candidates for New York City mayor for a third round of questions to help you make the best decision for you. Today, our conversation with the candidates continues with Scott Stringer. So good morning to you. Thank you for being here in person.
Great to be here.
Yes, good to see you in studio. So I want to begin with the latest poll that came out just yesterday, the Marist College WNBC poll right here on the screen, with 7% of voters surveyed saying you are their first choice behind Eric Adams, Catherine Garcia, Maya Wiley, Andrew Yang. Now, your numbers, Mr. Stringer, they've seemed to have slipped a bit in the latest polls. Are you confident that you can pull it off in the end?
Look, we're getting ready for the Stringer surge over the weekend. These polls are, they're a reflection of opinion, but look, we're not going to know the winner until the people go to the polls. And I understand people, trying to game it out and think about ranked choice voting, but all I can do is make my case directly to the voters. That's why I'm here this morning to talk about the issues facing the city, affordable housing, quality education, and who's going to be the best candidate to bring the city back.
You have had two women come forward now with allegations of sexual misconduct. The first you categorically denied and said it was a consensual relationship that you were in. The second was a woman who worked at a bar that you ran 30 years ago, someone you say you do not remember. So what do you say about those most recent allegations, and do you think that's affecting the poll numbers?
Look, we'll know on Election Day. I have been very clear on this show and every show. I answer the questions. I think with a few days to go, though, I think people in the street are asking me, where do you stand on affordable housing? What's your plan for public safety?
I'm going to get you on the issues, but on that second allegation.
Well, I already answered many times, including on this show.
What is your answer?
My answer is I don't have a recollection of what happened 30 years ago. If I did, I would say so, as I did with the first. But again, my hope is that people will focus on my 30-year record. They know who I am. Been in public service for a long time, and I will continue to answer questions.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have to have a mayor in City Hall who has experience, who knows how to govern, and that's what we're going to try to focus on in the last few days.
So you want to talk about the issues, so let's begin right now with crime, right?
Issues.
Our PIX11 News Nation Emerson College poll, Mr. Stringer, has crime as the #1 issue, and it's been the #1 issue for quite some time. There are some numbers on your screen right there, and its shootings are up nearly 70% over last year. So how are you going to target gun violence in particular?
Look, we need a two-prong approach. First, we've got to focus the police department in making sure we root out the shooters and the violent crime. I grew up here in the 1970s when there were 2,000 murders a year. I remember that time period as a kid back in the 70s and 80s. We can't go back to that. But we need a mayor who's going to actually focus the police department in doing that kind of work. And then we also have to keep kids away from the criminal justice system. And that's why I've always said that we also have to invest in violence interrupter programs, programs that will keep kids away from the criminal justice system, because we know it ends badly for our kids when that happens. So a mayor has to walk and chew gum at the same time. It has to be a proven manager, someone with experience. We certainly don't want another 2.0 de Blasio administration, so the candidates running are going to have to show how different they are from the current administration.
So you said you also want to take away $1 billion from the NYPD. Will that at all affect the efforts that you just talked about?
Well, let's be clear, and let's get the facts right.
Sure.
It's $1 billion over 4 years in a $6 billion budget. I believe, because I'm a controller and I look at numbers, there is fat in every agency. We should redirect $265 million a year to programs we know that work to keep kids safe in communities. We need to guarantee summer jobs and internships. We can deal and root out violent crime without going back to the Giuliani style of policing. Not every 911 call requires a badge and a gun. Sometimes we actually have to send out mental health professionals to help the people who are struggling on the streets. You need a mayor with a comprehensive program, and that's what I offer.
How would Scott Stringer have handled the situation that unfolded in Washington Square Park? We saw open drug use, boxing matches, and the NYPD came in. There were some clashes with the NYPD. Would you have handled that differently?
Look, I was not on the ground. So specifically, I don't want to say what, second guess people on the ground. But look, this has been part of the discussion in the de Blasio administration, is a failure to deal with protests or larger actions effectively. And I think we need a mayor who's going to be able to do that.
Let's talk about housing right now, because you're the money guy, as you have said a number of times on the campaign. 200,000 people were facing evictions before the pandemic. Courts don't even know what that number is. A lot of people worry that they're going to lose their homes, right, because they just simply can't afford the rent. How do you plan to help people make those payments and stay in their homes?
Well, first of all, we have got to make sure that the people who are in rent arrears through no fault of their own, they're victims of this pandemic, we need to make sure that money that's coming from the federal government and the state government works for them. We also have to help small landlords with their mortgages, and we're going to have to get this right. But long term, we have to recognize that even before the pandemic, 572,000 New Yorkers were one step away from homelessness. And we need to build the affordable housing that this city desperately, desperately needs. It's a major issue for people. We can't have a city for the very, very rich and then only have enclaves for the poor. We need to make sure that people can become aspirational again, get that first home, maybe a first home buyer or an affordable housing unit. We also need people to have the supportive mental health services they need, so we need to build that housing as well. I have the most inclusive, most forward-thinking housing plan of any candidate running for mayor. I hope I have an opportunity to implement it.
For when it comes to schools, education top of parents' minds right now. You said during our PIX11 forum that you would mandate students to be vaccinated. So what do you do then if a parent says, I don't want to vaccinate my child? Is that child allowed to go to school? And if they are they in a different classroom from the vaccinated kids?
Well, let's work on this. Let's try to get everybody educated about why the vaccine is important to the larger city and to children. I think the medical evidence is pretty clear to me about the more people get vaccinated, the quicker we can reopen the economy, the safer people can be. And I want to be the mayor to get into communities and talk to people about vaccination. But look, we're going to open schools in September, but what are we opening them for? We need more mental health services for our kids. We're going to need more tutoring and skill focus, because a lot of our kids fell behind. And I'm the public school parent in this race. I've got a third grader and a second grader, and remote learning was very tough for us, but can you imagine being in public housing or being in a homeless shelter without the remote learning device or internet access? The schools must be a priority.
But that unvaccinated child, they'll still be allowed to get to school.
But let's make sure that we get everybody vaccinated, and I'm going to work with parents and the administration to make sure. But I think vaccination is the safest place to be for our children and for our city.
We're giving everybody equal time here, so we're simply out of time. So I won't hit you on the New Jersey you got there by accident statement.
But to be continued. To be continued.
A lot of Jersey residents here.
There's another debate coming.
Okay, Mr. Stringer, thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here in person.